Welcome to another episode of Test Chamber. I'm your host, Joe Juba. I'm joined by Kim Wallace.
Varric Lover
Kim Wallace, who is on the controls for Dragon Age Inquisition.
Are you excited now that we finally get to show off the game to people?
Yeah, absolutely. So we're looking at the title screen for this. We're gonna sort of go through the opening sequence of the game for you here. So Kim, tell me a little bit about what we're looking at, because I've played the game. For review, you've put in a good chunk of hours in it.
Yeah,
also.
about 30, 35 at this point. So I don't know if, I'm sure you've played Dragon Age 2, or maybe you haven't, but at the end of that, the mages and Templars had come to a complete head, and the climax was that actual war. Now, Dragon Age Inquisition takes place a few years after that. As you can see, you have the Templars marching down here on the right and the mages on the left, and they're going to a temple for peace talks, which I don't know if they can ever get along.
Well, yeah, because the idea is that this war has been going on for so long, and so now all of the top officials from the mage and the Templar side have gathered at this temple to try and sort things out. So let's hit new game and see how that happens.
Can they all just get along? I don't know. Here we go. All right. Whoa. What's going on here?
Yeah. Okay. Peace talks averted.
All right. We are going to be... Do you want to show off the Qunari?
I think Qunari's pretty cool.
All right. I could not be the Qunari because they are not the prettiest to look at every time you play, especially the female ones. But what do you want to play as?
Well, we're looking at our classes. Now, there are 3 classes,
yes,
but there are 5 cards because it's basically helping you determine how you want just your initial skill point allocated.
Yes.
So if you're dual wielding rogue, you have more of a a melee combat related thing, versus if you're an archer, then you have a bow and arrow related thing. And the same thing for fighters.
Yes.
Let's go with mage.
Yeah, I actually am playing the mage class right now, and I adore mage. So I'm happy I went with it. I was originally not sure what I was going to do. So, all right, we have created the start.
And now this screen. Wow.
Oh, here we go. We have to do default world state.
Right. So normally, if you're playing this, you'll probably want to go to that URL there, the Dragon Age Keep, and that's how you tell the game the choices that you've made previously in the Dragon Age universe. There's no traditional save import like there was from Dragon Age 1 to 2. So you go through this whole thing and, tell it whether or not, your warden from Origins lived or died. Or that kind of thing. And then it imports all those choices into the game, so characters still sort of reference what you did. If you don't want to do all that, or if you haven't played Origins and Dragon Age 2, you do what we just did now, which was default world state, in which the game just they're just choices that have kind of been made for you, and that's fine. So what we're looking at is
She's
we're going to go
fierce.
go into character creation.
All right, we're just going to go with this regular.
Well, hold on.
Oh wait, you want me to show some of it?
We don't need to do too much, but let's go in.
All right.
I think.
What do you want different on her, Joe? Let's give her a big old scar.
I don't know. Let's go in there and set some sliders all the way to the right.
Oh, Joe, you're horrible.
It'll be good. Okay.
Where's her scar? All right. Anyways, so we'll give her some makeup. You know what?
All right. Classy. So anyway, yeah, this is I think the character creation stuff has sort of been covered.
It's been covered pretty well.
BioWare has done streams on it and stuff. But, suffice to say, you have a lot of different options that you can sort of go in here and customize. They have some good pre-made options.
Even down to lip shine. Look at that. Whoa, shiny lips. All right, we're just going to accept that. Okay.
Okay, fine.
All right. And all right.
All
right, that's her name. Hera.
So this is your playable character, and what exactly is going on here at the beginning is a little bit mysterious. You find out more about this later in the game. But, I don't know. Covering it, basically, you're in a mysterious place. There's a mysterious figure in front of you.
Mysteries in Dragon Age. What?
Yeah,
what?
Lots of mysteries. I do think it's actually kind of interesting the way the game does wait quite a bit to explain what exactly is going on here.
Why is it always spiders?
Yeah. They actually explain that too. But
yeah, I think I'm like in the 30-hour range, and I just recently found out more about this and that thread, and that thread's really interesting. But from the beginning, you're just kind of like, what? Like, the game gets you right into stuff really fast, as you can see here. What has happened?
Yeah. So what we know and what BioWare sort of said about it at this point is like you are in the Fade, and you fall out of the Fade and are found by those soldiers. And this is immediately following that big explosion that we saw on the title screen. Which, I mean, basically, in case it's not clear, pretty much all of the top officials from the Templars and the Mages were killed in this giant explosion.
That might not be clear to everyone, so good thing you brought it up.
Which just sort of like, not only, well, it kind of renders the war between the Mages and the Templars irrelevant because, like, the leadership is gone.
Oh, look at that hand. Shiny.
So, yeah, the mark on your hand is sort of the big differentiating thing. Like, that's what makes your character special, and we'll find out more about that even as we play.
And here she is, and her.
So Kim's a little excited about some returning characters. What do we got, Kim?
We've got Liliana and Cassandra. Cassandra is interrogating Varric in Dragon Age 2, as you remember, trying to find out where Hawk was while Varric spun his beautiful tales.
Kim, who's a Varric fan. And Liliana was a character who appeared near the end, like at the very end of Dragon Age 2.
Yeah, but she was a main character in Origins.
She was a party member, a romanceable party member in Dragon Age Origins.
She's not romanceable in this game.
Correct.
But you can romance Cassandra. Only if you play as a male Inquisitor, though.
Yeah, yeah.
Ooh,
I go around to all those people. I like that one of the options
is to cry.
Is crying.
I'm going to make her cry.
I understand that the goal is to sort of be like, oh, like you're being emotional about this. But it just kind of makes you kind of look like a crybaby.
Especially a Canary crying like this.
Well, not necessarily that crying's bad, but
no, I'm just saying.
But just like when your options are like all this like tough guy stuff.
You go from a fist
and then
to
there's the one that's just like
face.
Anyhow.
Go to the forward camp, Liliana. I will take her to the rift.
Ooh.
We are talking over a lot of this. Maybe that's.
I can be quiet.
Maybe we should let it speak for itself a little. I don't know. We're excited about this game.
It's amazing.
It will be easier to show you.
So because we talked all over it, and I'm sorry, your character is basically suspected of causing that explosion because the mark on your hand seems to have some sort of relation to this big breach in the sky that was caused sort of in the aftermath of that, of the incident.
And there it is.
We call it the breach. It's a massive rift into the world of demons that grows larger with each passing hour. It's not the only such rift. Just the largest. All were caused by the explosion at the Conclave.
An explosion can do that?
This one did. Unless we act, the breach may grow until it swallows the world.
Oh. It's about to get real.
Each time
Who
the
says
breach
that?
expands,
Me.
your mark spreads, and it is killing you. It may be the key to stopping this, but there isn't much time.
Okay, so Cassandra.
So I don't really have a choice about this.
Cassandra.
Oh, I upset her already.
Yeah.
Dang it.
She just gave better than we could have the sort of premise of the setup here that, there's this hole in the sky, demons are coming out of it, and they are trying to close it and figure out what's going on.
They have decided your guilt.
Yeah, these people don't like you right now. They think you're
People of Haven mourn
you're the problem.
our most holy, divine Justinia, head of the Chantry.
Cassandra's not
The
sure what to think
conclave
about
was
you at this
hers.
point either, but she changes her
It was a
tune
chance
very
for
shortly
peace,
here.
but
She's
the
actually
mages
one of the
and
more
Templars-
level-headed characters, I feel like, in
She
this
brought
game.
their
Yeah,
leaders
she ended up
together.
being,
Now
I mean,
they
pretty
are
much my
dead.
favorite party member, I think.
We lash out
Kind
like
of
the
like-
sky, but we
She
must
reminds me a
think
little bit of
beyond
Garrus in the
ourselves,
Mass Effect
as she
games, I
did.
think, in the sense that
Until the
she is the
breach was sealed.
character that most closely resembled my attitude towards things, you know? So she seems to have a level head,
There will
backs
be
you
a
up on
trial.
your decisions, even if she
I can
doesn't
promise
agree,
no more.
that kind of thing.
Come. It
So
is
yeah,
not far.
Cassandra was my
Where are
bro.
you taking me?
I think my bro's coming up soon, if I remember correctly.
Your mark must be
Does
tempered.
that character have a
Smaller
very
than-
hairy chest? Mm-hmm. Okay.
And he is the ultimate bro,
Open the gate.
not
We are heading
Cassandra.
into the valley.
So yeah, let's give a look over at the. Oh, I guess they're going to show us in
Yeah,
a second.
see, there's up there the rift. All right, let's see what's going on here. It's snowy out. The world is in disarray. And we are running. Uh-oh.
So,
Nothing without a little dramatics.
So this doesn't keep going throughout the whole game. The mark on your hand, though it remains, sort of stabilizes after the sort of intro sequence.
I just like how she is, like, Kunari is just huge.
Yeah, I played,
Towering over Cassandra. As a mage, is no doubt.
yeah, I played a Kunari mage my first playthrough,
Stepped out of a rift
and
and fell unconscious.
yeah, there. I mean,
They say a woman
you definitely feel huge. You feel appropriately sized.
Oh man.
So a common question that comes up about this game,
Stay behind.
that I've gotten anyway, is people wanting to know if you haven't played Dragon Age 1 or 2, is this accessible? What's your take on that?
I say you're going to be a little lost with the world and what's going on a bit, but it's nothing that a good wiki can't remedy is what I say about it. Like, do I think it's better to have played the other two games before this? Yes. Do I think it's going to be hard to go back and play those games right now? A little bit. I mean, Origin still holds up, I think, pretty well in my eyes, but Dragon Age 2 is not everybody's cup of tea, so...
Yeah. Yeah, I tend to echo those. I mean, like, I am someone who gets pretty into the games that I like, you know, like especially ones that have
Yeah.
sort of involved lore.
And this has been built
So-
up so much.
Yeah, I have trouble understanding why someone would want to jump into something that is built so much on like a history. At the same time, those previous two games are, you know, but you could easily spend 80 plus hours through, you know, as you're
It's a long commitment.
with both of them combined.
I will
So-
say this. There are a lot of cool cameos in Inquisition and special moments that I think you miss out on by not playing the other two for sure.
Again, you'd miss out on them, but you don't necessarily know you're missing out on them.
Yeah, that's true. I'm
So-
just saying, just to be fair.
Yeah. I mean, Kim and I are in the same boat of like, it's a better game if you've played the previous ones because you just get more of the references. With that being said, there's enough, you know, the basic background of like the world is in trouble, you can save it, sort of remains the same, and you know doesn't
I got stuck in
necessarily require a lot of explanation.
You take that.
So we've got a battle system that is more or less, like, I'm hesitant to continue drawing comparisons to the previous games, because like I mean Dragon Age Origins and Dragon Age 2 are so different, and if you say this is like Dragon Age 2, that's bound to make some people. So I think that's going to turn
Like
some
the
people
negative
off. That was
connotation
well,
with
yeah. I
it.
mean, like Dragon Age 2. I enjoyed a lot of things about that game, but a lot of people thought it was disappointing, especially after, what Dragon Age Origins was. But I mean, you can't get away from the fact that the sort of more action-oriented combat of Dragon Age 2 is sort of at the core of what's going on in Inquisition. I think that they do a better job of, integrating tactical options and designing encounters so that you're not just fighting random waves of enemies that appear, after you beat the first wave, which was another complaint about 2. So you're sort of, you're able to plan and approach combat a little more tactically, but you are, playing from this sort of third-person perspective most of the time, and you have, press a button, activate an ability versus the sort of, queuing of abilities that happened in Origins. So it's pretty much combat, anyway, is sort of a middle ground between those games, I think. We haven't unlocked it yet, but we'll be able to show the tactical camera too before this is is all done.
How'd you feel about the tactical camera?
I liked it. I'm not going. I was someone. We went up those stairs. I was someone who was I really loved how in Origins every encounter felt almost like a puzzle that you were solving because it was, it was difficult and it required teamwork to get through. This, I don't think quite has that vibe, but it definitely, I'm moving away from your question here for a second. But it's still, this still has that tactical element. If you really like that, you can get more of it by cranking up the difficulty, which you can do on the fly. And that requires you to use the tactical camera a little bit more.
Sorry.
There he is, splattered in blood, just like you like him.
It's Varric and the new character, Solus.
So Solus is helping you close this breach.
What did you do?
That's not the big one. That's another little rift. not the huge one that we saw at the beginning.
At least this is good for something.
Whatever magic opened the breach in the sky.
I'm being very sassy today. I usually do not respond like this in my games, so I'm just curious how the dialogue plays out otherwise, if I'm a sass.
Yeah, that's fine.
Could also close the breach itself.
Possibly.
That is one of the fun things about multiple playthroughs of games like this too, is that you're able to see how different stuff might play out with different responses.
Look at that chest hair.
There it is.
Tethras, rogue, storyteller, and occasionally unwelcome tag-along.
Man, this game looked really good. We are playing on PS4, obviously. It's also available on PC and Xbox One. It's also available on PS3 and 360, though we have not had those sent to us. So I don't know how it performs or how it stacks up, but it performs well on the 3 consoles that we were able to check out.
Your soldiers aren't in control anymore. You need me.
I love the Cassandra Varric banter. She's already annoyed with him.
Well, and that's an example of a thing that you might be missing out on if you haven't played Dragon Age 2. They have this sort of history of an antagonistic relationship that is established through the telling of Dragon Age 2. So,
Do that.
and there's a great moment later on between the two of them, stemming from some of that too. That I can't spoil, but
that is a really memorable one.
Your prisoner is a mage.
Just to say, if you dug Cassandra and Varric's banter in 2, you'll enjoy this game.
yeah.
We must get to the forward camp quickly.
Okay, so back to the tactical camera. I just wanted to I wanted to say real quick that my general approach to it was using this sort of third-person action-oriented view for most fights. This was playing on normal difficulty. And then there were some harder fights that I would find myself needing a little more precise control and going back to that going back to the tactical camera to sort of micromanage actions. Playing through my second playthrough has been of course. My second playthrough has been on hard, and I'm finding myself using the tactical camera more there just because of, it's more difficult, so you just need a higher level of moment to moment control. And here we go.
Here we go. So
camera.
press it.
So this view will look familiar to pretty much anyone who played Origins. It's sort of the like top-down isometric business. It's got this cool thing that we're going to see now. Hold R2 for a second. So while you're in tactical mode, you hold R2 that advances time, but then when you release it, it freezes time.
Yep, like that.
So you get some cool action shots
So I can
and stuff of
take
what's going
that
on.
and be like, oh, I don't like you over there. Move. And then advance time.
Yep, and then then you hold it down, and then
Whoa! Like magic. Yeah, that's
but-
for people who...
And like a happy side effect of that whole tactical camera is that you're able to get some pretty awesome shots when you're like blasting off some big lightning spell, and time is just frozen as you're like seeing everyone reacting to it, and like in their action poses and stuff. It's pretty neat.
It's definitely good, too, for putting your party members. Sometimes they're not in the best places, just like in general, where the computer decides sometimes to line up. So I often like to move them. Right now, Varric's in a good position, but there's been times where I didn't like where they were, and it made all the difference in battle. It's just moving them around a bit and adjusting that. Of course, you can always go in yourself, like with the press of the D-pad down, and go to one of your party members if you really are worried about what they're doing or just want to try out a different class. Like, that's how I've, looked at other mages in my party and what their powers can do, and even got like a taste for the warrior class. It's kind of fun if you're bored of just playing a mage at one point, just want to try warrior out. So.
I did find myself constantly just using my own character. I mean, like, I would go back to test out what like the ranged combat of an archer might be like, but I was a mage, and like I just really loved the versatility of this class. I guess that's not to trash talk the other ones. Like, there's things I like about the rogue and things I like about the warrior also, but I tend to prefer the casters in RPGs anyway.
Here we go. And potions, so there's no healing spells.
Which was sort of controversial when it first came out.
Not a big deal, though, because they have potions around in my opinion, a good supply, where like there's supply crates, and I don't notice myself really needing to dig into being like, oh, I miss having this healing spell
and
when I play.
From my perspective anyway, you have certain expectations of what an RPG has. So you think that you are going to need healing spells. And it is sort of frustrating when you're used to having that kind of control and then you suddenly don't have it. I get that. At the same time, it actually, I think back to my time with like Dragon Age Origins, when it's actually it gets kind of old having to play tug of war with your health bar all the time, like it sort of takes your mind off of the moment-to-moment combat, because you're always babysitting your health, because you can, restore it by 40% or whatever if you need to.
Yeah.
So it's the lack of healing spells is actually good for let's do barrier.
Oh, you want to do barrier? Okay, fine.
The lack of healing spells is good for sort of taking your mind off of that and more onto putting the best defense is a good offense kind of approach.
There we go. And we have it. So that's now on our hotkeys.
And now I should bring up too, if we'd been a human, we would have 2 points to spend.
Haha.
So humans get an extra ability point. This is something we didn't cover a whole lot at the race selection.
Yeah.
Humans get an extra ability point. Kunari, I think, get a 10% melee defense increase. Elves get, I think, 25%? Is it magic resistance or something?
Yeah.
No, or maybe that's dwarves. Anyway, each class sort of has a
perk.
Has a perk that for to help point. But that being said, it's not insurmountable if you want to be if you want to be a Kunari mage, that's fine.
Order me? You are a glorified clerk, a bureaucrat.
And you are a thug, but a thug who supposedly serves the Chantry.
So this little scene, I think, kind of illustrates the fact that without all of the leadership, no one's quite sure who's in charge, and people are ordering people to do things without necessarily the right authority, and anyway, it means that someone needs to take
None of you are
charge.
actually in charge here.
I said it. No one's in charge here.
That was in charge.
This guy is just a jerk.
Call her a truth seeker.
If only there was someone who could found some kind of
We can
organization
stop this
that would
before it's
take
too
charge and help
If
solve the problems
only I
of the
had a
world.
little green hand that closed these tears in the sky.
Yeah.
We must get to the temple. It's the quickest route.
But not the safest. Our forces can charge as a distraction while we go through the mountains.
We lost contact with an entire squad on that path. It's too risky.
Listen,
So this is one of the first choices that you have to make. I don't know that like it's not of great or like significant impact whether you take the mountain path or the other path, but they are different routes to the same location.
How do you think we should proceed?
Do the mountain path. I like that one.
Use the mountain path. Work
I'm just your.
together.
Ooh, Varric
You all
approves.
know
All right,
what's
fine. I've just been pissing Cassandra off since we've started this game. Which, explain a little bit to people how the system works with your relationship with other characters. It seems to me that you can piss off a character, but that's not going to lock you out of any content. Like, you still get their individual quest lines.
Yeah, because like I know there were characters that were constantly disapproving of me, and I was still able to sort of do what needed to
Oh
be,
yeah, Solus
do-
and Vivian just hate me.
Yeah.
I don't really agree with them on things, but it hasn't affected me being able to do anything. Like Vivian wants me to go help her on her special like character quest, and I'm fine doing it. But
And they do. One thing to note is that they do remove the meter from previous games. So like you basically had like a friendship meter in Origins, and they turned it to like a friendship/rivalry meter in 2.
Tunnel should be just
But
ahead.
it was basically this weird way of like quantifying where your relationship with someone was. That's not in this game, so you don't need to worry about kind of like, oh no, does this person like me enough or not? Because really, it doesn't.
Soldiers are in there somewhere.
Like,
they're still going to work with you.
yeah, I don't have. Well, not necessarily. I think if you make someone mad enough, they might leave. That didn't happen to me, but I've read that
I think
that's
you have
possible.
to really be a jerk.
But I mean, you would have to do some terrible things.
Okay, I was just going to show them my barrier, but
Yeah, go for it.
you can wait.
No, that's good. So barrier is a spell that if you have a mage, you're gonna want to teach them. It's a basically just like temporary hit points. It's like a shield that protects your health bar until it wears
It's
off.
very important.
Yeah, I mean every mage in my party. I mean it's the first spell down its skill tree.
Yeah, it
So-
doesn't take much to. You can go into other magic and not feel like you have to spend a lot to get it. So.
Yeah. We were talking about so I thought the main purpose of those sort of like Cassandra approves, Cassandra disapproves, for me anyway, helped give a sense of like what a character's personality was like.
Exactly.
The kinds of things that they like and don't like. I think you'd have to pretty willfully be trying to piss someone off for them to leave. But I mean, I still like when on my playthrough, Cole hated everything I did.
Cole gets hard to please as the game goes on, I feel like.
But even,
Little loot everywhere you go.
Cole didn't leave. He still gave me his quests and stuff. It might impact your ability to romance a character. You know, like if Cassandra disapproves of everything you do, she might give you her quest, but she might not.
She might just say to you, nope.
Yeah, but again, like if you don't like Cassandra, if she's disapproving of everything you do, you're probably not trying to romance her because you probably don't like her. So,
Who did you romance, Joe?
I did 2 in my playthrough.
Wow.
Well, no, I mean
Not a
not-
one.
not simultaneously. I started off with Iron Bull,
Okay, I was not expecting that from you.
who Iron Bull is. Well, it was kind of an accident actually, because
Wait, Joe. There's a big icon with a heart. You don't accidentally romance someone. I mean,
Well, no.
you know what you're getting yourself into.
so really what happened with it is that I was thinking that I would try and romance a different character. So I was turning down romantic dialogue options with other ones.
Unless we see
And then
no one is safe.
basically it boils down to like I was kind of forced into Iron Bull because his romance options were still available and easy. But then I found out later in the game that I hadn't actually closed things out with Cassandra, so I broke up with Iron Bull.
And you ended up, well, really liking the Cassandra romance.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to say too
No,
much
we're not gonna
about
spoil anything.
Any of the side quest
But
stuff.
I'm just
I mean, like
saying.
Cassandra, like I said, Cassandra is basically my favorite character in this game. So, I was happy with the way that whole arc played out.
I think they all have, from what I can tell so far, pretty interesting side stories, all of the characters. In fact, I would argue even more interesting than the story itself. Not that having a green hand that closes rifts isn't cool, whatever, but some of these characters just with the world just have interesting dilemmas within it, and finding out more of their backstories is probably my favorite part. And I think that's
Yeah.
why I am a Bioware fan, because I do enjoy those character moments.
And there's definitely something to be said, like, because it's not just about the characters; it's also sort of about the facets of the world that they represent. You know, like it's cool to talk to like Cole, for instance. Is so like he's a kind of spiritual entity, and he adds this like cool kind of ambiguous layer to, you know, well, maybe this is like a spirit that I'm not just trying to kill. There's something more there. So the way your interactions with these characters also sort of enriches your knowledge of like the world and stuff like that, I think is really cool also. Solus is another good example of that too.
Ugh, I don't like him.
I mean, I don't think he's not super interesting to talk to for me,
He just hates everything I do, so.
but his conversations and his insight about like his whole thing is like he's a mage who's really into the Fade. So like
What, you
whoa,
take
whoa,
fall
whoa, whoa.
damage. I just want to let you all know that. That was me showing you that you take fall damage. Be careful.
Yeah, so the insights that Solus has about the Fade and stuff, which surprise plays sort of an important role in the story, is kind of cool. Oh, and so like you were saying, I think those character stories are generally more stronger than they're more strong than the main sort of story arc. Not that that's like super disappointing or anything.
No.
But it also isn't. For me, it wasn't the main draw.
That is where you walked out of the Fade.
Oh.
Actually, I don't know. I guess the main story was kind of disappointing for me. I feel like in concept it was really great,
No one knows who she was.
but I felt like a few of the key sort of story beats felt, I don't know, like a little rushed. They felt a little fast.
Yeah, I'm not finished with it yet. From what I've played through, though, so far, I can kind of see what you're talking about. Like, I feel like this part for people to enter is a little abrupt. Like, all of a sudden, like, I felt like they wanted to get you into the meat of the game right away playing, which is always a good idea, because I don't like when things take too long to progress. But if you don't have some of the context, it's just like, wait, I'm here, I'm there. Okay, I've got everybody now, and I'm going.
This part isn't so much of a big deal to me, but it's like what we'll see it actually when Cassandra sort of declares the Inquisition open. I'm just sort of like, oh, I even as someone who like follows this closely, I wanted a little bit more context in terms of like what the original Inquisition was and like the purpose of reviving it and the sort of, some of the implications of that. But again, that would take a lot of time. And this game is complex as it is. I guess I can understand the desire to sort of push people into the action as much as possible, like as soon as possible.
And be careful.
Well, it's just there's cool progression in this game. Some of it does take time. Like you're not. Oh boy, I don't want to go down there.
You'll be fine.
I don't know that fall damage.
How many potions do you have?
I have enough.
Okay.
I'm just being a baby. No, I'm just tempted to take the long way.
Just go around.
I don't want to go around, Joe.
We don't need you taking more fall damage here, Kim.
I totally, when I first played this, did not go around and just jump down, by the way. And that's when I realized you could take fall damage.
Yeah. then you didn't get this nice little chat about red lyrium.
Yeah, I was like, yeah, I know. I knew all about it, but
That's kind of interesting too. Another thing to bring up, like red lyrium, if you play Dragon Age 2, is kind of one of the dangling story threads that is a bit of a mystery about the world. And they definitely, in Inquisition here, go into some detail about like, I mean, it plays a very important role in what's going on in the world. So,
what would you do if your hand just went green like that, Joe?
I would call the doctor.
Would you stand by it like these other characters are? It's like, get out of the way.
No, I mean, I would immediately call the doctor for myself or anyone near me whose hand was glowing like that.
I want my hand to glow pink.
So, we're sort of seeing a little vision of the
What's
past.
going on here?
We have an intruder.
So that's the shadowy,
Lady Canary.
the shadowy figure of the villain who, eventually, I mean, at first just becomes sort of known as the Elder One,
And the divine is she.
which is
Was this
suitably
vision true?
menacing.
What are we seeing?
I don't remember.
At amnesia. Whew.
Okay, so this rift, unlike the other ones that we've seen so far in the game, is like the big one. This is the site of that original explosion.
And then sealed properly and safely. However, opening the rift will likely attract attention from the other side.
Look at those pores. I just like how realistic and games are with the new tech. It's amazing.
So the goal here is like, okay, we're gonna open this rift
Oh boy.
and then close it, and hopefully that will close this big thing in the sky. Spoiler alert, it doesn't work. I mean, the rift opens just fine.
Whoa. Oh, wow. Whew.
So we've got,
It wouldn't be Dragon Age if something like that didn't happen.
so it's what, a pride demon, I think?
Ah!
All right, we want to disrupt that rift.
Yes. So you basically can have your characters distract. Well, now he's not because he sees me.
Wear it down.
There we go.
Yeah. I'd hide back here.
So anytime that you're around a rift, you can use your mark to disrupt it, which sort of will like damage and stun nearby demon enemies, which is what we're learning in this fight. But there are lots of rifts to close in the different areas in the game.
Oh yeah.
I mean, it's worth pointing out actually, and we'll cover this more in depth in another video, I think, that but just the expansiveness of the game. What we're going through here at the beginning.
Oh no, one of my party members is already dead. You
He'll be
can
fine.
revive party members.
Yep.
I just need to
If you don't jump. There we go.
yes.
What we're going through here, like the main story missions are sort of, like you sort of travel around a set path for those. But otherwise, you have a lot of freedom to explore the different zones and take on different quests and all that kind of thing. It's not all just sort of
Oh,
like a big
come on.
linear dungeon crawl.
Why these things are targeting me right now? They're making me angry. Get away.
You could probably fight him.
He's making me angry, Joe.
That's why you fight him.
Thank you, Cassandra. It's about time you back me. Oh,
Oh.
of course that would happen when I'm playing. Of course.
No, you'll be fine. All right. Potion.
Oh, I don't know. That is rough.
All right. Can you disrupt the rift again? Yeah.
Just making sure I'm like not right in the line of fire.
That's probably smart.
All right, there we go. Send some fire that his way.
Yep.
Upset me now. I'm used to having more abilities.
Don't worry about your dumb chain lightning on this guy. Turns out he's totally lightning powered, so it doesn't do a lot.
Well, I just thrown at what I can. show people.
I mean, it does look cool.
Yeah,
no matter what
just
you're
showing
doing.
people the abilities. But yeah.
So this is an example of a fight that
These little guys are rats.
on normal you can sort of just fight through, but you may need to switch to the tactical camera a little bit to sort of make sure that your characters are not all standing in a row in front of the Pride Demon. Because
Exactly.
when he whips out that like lightning whip, it might be a problem.
All right, I think I can maybe disrupt that
Yep.
one more time.
Do it.
Well, he's walking near me, which makes me a little nervous.
Nah, it'll be okay.
Butt to me. Boom. This could be it.
It's
Feeling
close.
good about
you
it.
should be able to get him at least before he puts his armor up again. You got it. No, potion.
I'm determined. Oh, I thought I was going to get that in there. I thought it was going to do it.
You'll be fine. You've got it.
Well, now I want to revive my...
Don't worry about it. You've got it.
Don't worry. There we go.
Now!
Fine.
Heal the rift! Do it!
Yep, Pride Demon.
All right. It's almost like I've been playing a lot of Dragon Age.
Nah, I wouldn't have guessed that. Now that's how you make people pay attention.
All right. So that sort of takes care of that little bit. We're not going to stop quite yet. There's a little bit more that we can look at, sort of in the aftermath of what happened in the mountains, and then it sort of gives you a basis for how the Inquisition begins, what the Inquisition sort of home base looks like.
I look like a goat.
Your character doesn't look great either. Hey,
Oh.
I thought you were always more of a camel, Kim.
Oh boy, Joe.
I didn't know you were awake.
That was from
I
our
walked right into that.
from our Extra Life live stream. Someone
Why are you
donated
afraid?
some money to make
What
Kim
happened?
wear a ridiculous camel
That's
mask.
wrong, isn't it?
It was
I said
good.
the wrong thing.
I did it
I
for the
don't
children.
think so.
I beg your forgiveness and your blessing. I am but a humble servant.
So
you
this
are back in Haven.
this
my
person's
lady.
reaction to
They
you
say
is sort of a
saved
good
us.
indicator
The breach
that
stopped growing. Just
not
like
only
mark
are
on
you
your
no
hand.
longer a suspect for causing the explosion.
You're freaking royalty.
Yeah,
almost.
you're
Anyone
you're
talked
you're
about
now
the
a
last
sort of
3 days.
figure of admiration because, well,
So
your
saying
significance is
they're
unclear,
happy with me.
but they
I'm
think that
only
you're some
saying
sort
what
of,
I heard.
you know,
I
religious
didn't mean
figure.
anything by it. I'm certain Lady Cassandra would want to know you've wakened. She said, at once,
And where is she?
in the Chantry with the Lord Chancellor. At once, she said.
Loot right in front of your face.
Yeah, how do
I
you
gotta
pa-
pick it up.
How do you pass that up?
I know. There's little notes. So that's your progress.
Boring.
Hey, I'm letting people read, enjoy the literature of Dragon Age.
Uh-huh.
There's tons of it.
Okay.
All right,
Let's get out of the
I'm
boring room. All right.
What's going on here?
So yeah, everyone is sort of in silent admiration. So what we're looking at here is Haven, which is sort of the Inquisition's first home base. As you've probably read, if you've been following the game, that you get another base later in the game called Skyhold that has a little more, it has more customization options and stuff,
I
but
skipped reading a note. It's driving me nuts.
you'll be fine.
Chain her. I want her prepared for travel to
This
the capital
jerk
for
again.
trial.
Disregard that and leave us.
That's right, Cass. You tell him.
You walk a dangerous line, Seeker.
The breach is stable, but it is still a threat. I will not ignore it.
Go for
Let me
it.
guess. You need my help.
You have done plenty. Your actions will be taken into account by the new Divine.
Have a care, Chancellor. The breach is not the only threat we face.
Someone was behind the explosion at the Conclave. Someone most holy did not expect. Perhaps they died with the others, or have allies who yet live.
I am a suspect,
You, and many others.
but not the prisoner.
I heard the voices in the temple. The Divine called to her for help.
So her survival, that thing on her hand, all a coincidence.
Providence. The Maker sent her to us in our darkest hour.
How did you respond to this, Joe?
I
5
don't
minutes
remember.
Ago, you wanted me dead.
I definitely
Now
was
you're
not. I was
facing
not all on board
was
with the
wrong.
like I am an agent
Perhaps
of the
I still
Maker
am.
kind of stuff. I was more.
will
I didn't know
not,
what to
however,
tell
pretend.
people.
I
Like,
took
that's
more
what
of
I
an.
felt.
I took more of an agnostic view towards things.
That's what
I'm
I
not-
did. I was like, I don't know what to tell you. I guess I've got it. But I think it's cool. Like, if you want to play this up, like
This
you
is
were
not
sent
for you to
from
decide.
God, you can totally do that and be like, yeah,
You know
I
what
was.
this is,
Okay, this is
Chancellor.
important.
A writ from the Divine, granting us the authority to act. As of this moment, I declare the Inquisition reborn. We will close the breach, we will find those responsible, and we will restore order with or without your approval.
She told you.
This is the Divine's directive. Rebuild the Inquisition of old. Find those who will stand against the chaos. We aren't ready. We have no leader, no numbers. And now, no Chantry support.
But we have no choice. We must act now, with you at our side.
When I woke up, I certainly didn't picture this outcome.
Neither did we.
Help us fix this, before it's too late.
So the Inquisition was that like it's not new for this game. It's actually a thing. You can go and look it up on the wiki page. It's sort of a part of the world prior to this that I think that the Inquisition eventually became like the Templars and the Seekers, right? Something like that.
There's Cullen.
He's your current romance. option.
Yeah, I actually
Because-
am trying to
because-
romance him because I wanted to romance Cassandra, but I can't because I'm playing as the girl, and Cassandra disapproves.
And Varric is also not a romanceable option.
Yeah, which I'm bummed out about.
So I think that sort of covers the basic premise for the setup, which I mean, does even without giving you that full like previously on Dragon Age, recounting all that. I mean, that's still a pretty hefty build up to what ends up being the sort of basic premise for the whole game.
There we go. We're starting it up. I like it too because as you go through, you're kind of building up who's on your side, and it kind of reminded me of like collecting the Stars of Destiny in Suikoden.
Yeah.
Like building up your headquarters too. Like things get nicer as you go along. You can invest, to spruce things up a little bit as it goes on.
Yeah, there are lots of ways from this moment in the game forward that that the Inquisition you begin to take some ownership over it, and it's very satisfying to sort of recruit agents to your side, to expand your power, your base, all that stuff. And there it is, the official Inquisition banner.
My Canary looks so out of place, just towering over everyone.
So there it is. That's the basic. That's the intro sequence for Dragon Age Inquisition. What happens after this point is largely up for you as a player to decide. Lots of different things to explore, and we'll get to that in another video. But for now, thanks for watching.
Thank you.